Welcome to Believe, the Conspiracy Theory Podcast. I'm Phil Green.
And I'm David Ferguson.
And we are two comedians presenting a podcast all about the world's craziest conspiracy theories. Unless, of course,
they're true.
Unless, of course, they're true. And that is what we're here to try to find out. In each episode, we bring on a guest comedian. And that comedian picks a conspiracy theory they want to talk about. It might be a conspiracy theory they believe in. It might be a conspiracy theory they don't believe in. Or it might be a conspiracy theory they think is the most batshit thing they've ever heard. And they want to find out whether anyone would believe it in the first place.
But it might be true.
It might be true. I think it's fair to say this week it probably isn't, but we're going to find out. Now, you most of the time do believe in conspiracy theories.
Yes. Even if I don't believe it all, I believe some of it. But I'm through the looking glass, people. This week,
we could be shocked. This could be the first one. We'll see how it pans out. Okay, so we do have social media channels. If you enjoy our podcast, please do give us a like and subscribe. And also follow us on Instagram or on TikTok. We post regular videos from there. There's exclusive stuff that we put out there as well. It's at believeconspiracypod. We also let you know when we post all the new episodes too. And we want you to get involved in the conversation, don't we?
Yes, because we don't want to be crazy people alone talking about this. We want to know what you think.
We do. So comment on the videos, comment on what you think about the conspiracy theories, and you can also DM us and tell us which conspiracies you want us to cover, and we will try to do that. And this particular one has actually been suggested by quite a few of our listeners. We did not know about this conspiracy until we started doing this podcast, and we discovered it. And since we discovered it, a lot of people have contacted to say that they wanted to cover it. So we'll come to that in a second, because I have to plug my tour, don't I?
Yes, you do. It's a great
tour with my show, 4 Weddings and a Breakdown. I've still got a few dates left. I'm going to Bristol, Brighton, Glasgow, Liverpool, Peterborough, Southampton and Poole. There is a link in the show notes for all of our shows, or you can go to philgreencomedy.com and there is a link there as well. We should give a shout out to our wonderful tech,
Phoebe!
The fabulous Phoebe!
Woo! Who's awesome in this episode.
Yeah, we're recording it after the episode. That's how we know. It hasn't got that much premonition. And our fantastic guest this week is
the great, the wonderful Joseph Parsons.
The wonderful Joseph Parsons. One of the nicest people in comedy. We love him. We're very excited to have him on. I mean, we've already had him on, so we know he's great. And Joe is a comedian. He's a writer. He is a presenter, mostly in London, but he does stuff all over the country as well. A couple of years ago, he was shortlisted for the BBC's A New Comedy Award. He's also featured on the BBC's LGBT Sports podcast and TalkSport, because he's very into sport. He is also the presenter of the Big Sport Pod, which pits comedians against each other, where they're quizzed on their sporting knowledge. How do you think you would fare in that?
I would just be staring silently for an hour.
I'm not going to lie, that is exactly what would happen.
I do not know about sport at all.
Yeah. But it would be funny to watch.
It would be. Because once I start crying after the first 10 minutes, I don't know. Like, I don't understand why the lioness line's called the lioness line. Why?
Because they're... Never mind.
There we go.
Okay. And the conspiracy theory that Joseph has chosen is...
Finland doesn't exist.
We told you. Finland doesn't exist. Let's bring him on.
Get out of the rabbit hole.
It's a fake. Every single bird in the sky is a robot.
It's fiction.
Doubt your government.
They're trying to brainwash you.
It's an urban legend.
Like if they're actually spraying something in the sky.
No way.
A stream of absurdity.
It's a total fabrication.
Welcome to the podcast, Joseph Parsons!
Oh, guys, I love
Yes.
it's an enthusiastic entrance, isn't it?
That's how we roll.
We're so happy to see you.
We start off high and then we descend very rapidly.
Good Lord. Just to break the fourth wall, this is not the energy that we just had pre.
Oh, no.
This is
not at
a
all.
relaxed chat,
Not
and
at all.
all of a sudden,
We were talking about your Invisalign before.
yes, we were. Stop it, guys. These are natural.
Oh, sorry. Edit that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Joe, I see you've got ripped.
Thank you so much. That's so natural. So natural. Yeah, I'm
Have you been working out? Oh, wow.
I have just a lot actually. I've been trying to do 5 times a week this year.
Well, that's intense.
It's hard work. You like it. I think you guys like working out, right?
I like thinking about it.
You like thinking about it?
I like the end results of it.
Yeah, I've just got really into it. I know you can tell. You can just tell. He's got the shoulders for it.
Like,
He's got bulk. I've been
Biceps.
shopping for a suit jacket today or suit for bleak reason, funeral, but it's fine.
Okay.
It's
You want to look good at the funeral.
Kind of. You just want to look sexy
Yeah.
at a funeral. But it's like I went in with the ambition, black suit, classic. She's going Italian, but like Italian black suit. I thought that's what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
It will look sleek. your funeral chic.
Yeah.
But the funeral, I've been told, is definitely no black and smart casual.
Oh, man.
Really moves the barrier of
Really
funeral
does.
wear.
I don't understand that because you're going to show up at the funeral dressing slutty.
Well, I once went to a funeral, and it was really like, go bright. And I went bright.
Right.
And I'm not a bright guy. I wore yellow, which isn't my shade.
Yeah.
And I went with my friend. We got attacked by a dog pre-going there.
Wow.
Bit of fun. Dog didn't like us. Next door dog. We went out. We were like, right, let's go to the funeral. We weren't that jolly. The dog came at us, started attacking us, attacked my friend, which is harrowing before a funeral.
Yeah.
And then we got to the funeral. We went bright. Like, we went yellow, like as bright as we could.
Yeah.
Everyone else wearing black with just like a pink brooch or a slight
Pricks.
or and there is nothing worse than turning up like children's TV presenters at a person's funeral in the most somber event. And
Had you misread it or?
No, we just took it very seriously.
Okay.
We take the briefs very seriously with my friend, and we were like, right, we're gonna get bright. So yeah, that's been my morning.
How close were you to the deceased?
Relatively close at that time.
Okay.
Similarly close for this time, but I just need to get the look right. But it moves the barriers, doesn't it? And I because I got so jacked, like incredibly.
It's
My
distracting.
old suit jacket doesn't actually fit me now.
Oh, that's the suit to wear because like ripping.
I could do a hunk moment, a Hulk
Hulk
moment.
moment.
Not, I mean, he's the
Hulk
ultimate.
is sad.
Yeah, exactly. But I just feels like a bit of a crude. It's not very funeral chic.
No.
Yeah.
I've been told smart casual is appropriate. I don't want to be going in chinos. I went to the Moss Bros. Because I was like,
classic.
Moss Bros. If I'm going to get a suit jacket, I'm going to Moss Bros.
Damn right.
Probably.
They don't sponsor us, not yet.
No, not yet, but they could. Moss Bros. Lovely people, but the lady
Lovely
did,
people.
lovely people. But the lady did suggest something that made me look a bit like a wine tasting event was about to happen. Brown chinos, coloured blazer. I was like, no, this is still.
I won't lie to you, Joe. You
funeral.
do look like a kind of guy who would be at a wine tasting event.
Hey.
And I mean that in the best possible way.
No, you're completely. I am pretentious. I am. You got me. You got me.
But
in one.
I think
Only
you'd have to
one,
meet you
quite
and talk
pretentious.
to you for a bit and you go, he knows about wine. That's a guy
I
that knows about wine.
actually don't.
Yeah.
I know they come in broadly 3 colours.
Yeah.
Could be other colours.
Depends where you buy them from.
Sometimes they're sparkling, bit of fun. Generally speaking, not a big wine drinker, not a drinker anymore. But when I was a drinker, red wine was like, it was good in the Netherlands because it was all very cheap because booze was quite cheap there. And
You lived in
and the people I knew there
Yeah.
were good at wine, and I just sort of piggybacked off the back of their knowledge.
I get it.
I didn't actually do any of the hard yards of learning about wine.
Yeah.
And then I've always been just a real basic bitch lager drinker. I am. I'm a
Just
basic
a lad.
bitch.
Lads.
I am a basic bloke. I'm incredibly blokey in my interests and general demeanour.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I think of you as a bloke because you like soccer and football. I'm saying soccer because we have American listeners.
I'm going to be honest, it's very much been my brand for the last 4 years of stand-up.
Yeah.
I'm slowly moving away from with my new show. But yeah.
You do a podcast about sports. don't you?
Yeah. But I'm hoping that the sexuality element of my life is
Balances
slightly
it all out.
secondary, and also I'm not like ultra blokey. Like I'm not oozing toxicity yet, but I'm trying because I'm working out more.
Yeah, again,
Trying to get
because
to that
I
level.
wouldn't say he's a lager drinker. I would say that dude likes wine.
See, this is where
If I didn't know.
I think I blur the notions of what people expect from me.
Yeah.
I think gay people are like, oh, he's going to like a lager, whereas straight people are like, he's a bit fruity.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I
fair.
can't quite put my finger on it.
But do you like playing with that perception though?
I just don't give a shit now.
Okay.
I'm all right to swear, aren't I?
Yeah.
Fuck.
But,
Cool.
yeah.
Cunt. Anyway. Our second cunt
Yeah,
of the show.
we've had another cunt.
Sorry.
Got a cunt
just
count.
have to get the cunt out. As
Are we
it were.
cutting?
As it were, a bit of cunt action start. Good. Sorry, you were drinking. Not an appropriate time to do the cunt action. But yes, I don't know where I was going with this. I don't really give a shit now. I think people can take whatever they want from what they get from me. I'm not desperately trying to be super masculine. I'm not desperately trying to be super feminine. I have moments where I'm a bit more flamboyant. I have moments where I'm a bit more blokey. Very much depends on my environment, and I'm fine with that.
Okay. Do you miss booze?
No, I thought it was going to be much harder than it is, which is really
How
annoying.
long have you gone with?
I've gone 260 odd days.
Wow.
I don't know specifically. I'm trying to do the whole year and then see what happens.
Okay.
Whether I go back to it or not. I don't think I want to. But
I don't drink. I mean, I'll occasionally have a cocktail or something because I'm gay. But
well, you have to.
Yeah,
I really like
Those
it.
are the rules. Is that how it works?
Yeah. If you're gay, you have to have a cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
How frequently?
It's because that's the word cock in it, and we really believe in sexual puns.
That's what I've heard.
It's actually part of our. It's like in our Bible.
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
once we recruit you, you'll
This is-
understand.
okay. Yeah. Which,
Yeah.
in fairness, you're
And-
doing a very stellar job with.
On our Bible, the front has top on it, and the back has head on. It's a really exciting thing. In the middle there's just the one word verse,
Lovely.
which people claim to be and aren't.
I know,
AKA
right? Oh my
me.
God.
I am
Oh.
so that guy. I'm like, I'm versatile. I'm fucking lazy. Just lie me down. It's all fine.
I love this insight into gay school. This is
Sorry, this is gay school. Welcome to gay school.
Welcome to
gay school. Here's your pass. You get 3 days free. Then you have to pay the subscription, which is also £15 on Grindr.
reasonable.
The monthly subscription of being single and gay, or not,
No, I don't.
or
I
just
don't do
being
it.
gay and
I don't
Just
do
not
any of the apps.
questions.
Anyway, I've really diverted this towards gay
Well, this
world.
is okay. That's
But generally speaking, perceptions-wise, not bothered.
Okay.
People can take what they want from me now. I used to give a shit. I used to give so many shits. But
Yeah.
I give so little, which is
Yeah.
lovely. It's a nice
Good.
place to be.
No, it's a good place to be. Yeah. You are your own man.
I am. Yes, I am my own man.
And one day we'll all be dead.
Yeah.
And isn't that comforting?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
We've gone from funerals round to death in a beautiful circle.
One day
And as they lower your coffin, they'll be like, he was so jacked.
they will. They'll be like, "This is so heavy."
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, they'll be just quivering. I've got to be a pallbearer. Have you ever done that?
Yeah. It's I found it really stressful.
I'm the clumsiest man to be a pallbearer. It's
Well,
it's a
because I'm
sitcom
sure,
waiting to happen.
and so they put me at the front, and they took the big guys at the back. And you think, if this slides off, it's sliding off my way, and I'm gonna. So it's the last person that's going to come off is me. So I'm going to look responsible for this fucking up. But it's. Did you find it stressful?
Well, I'm about to
yeah.
find it stressful. It's
You'll
coming
find,
up.
You'll find the funeral director is very do this, do that. Like they've
Good.
done this before.
Yeah.
I've always done the speaking at funerals, but never the carrying. So this is a new territory.
You got a lot of jobs at funerals.
Hey, look, a lot of death. No, but it's fine. It's something that's like fresh in my mind today. So I'm saying it on the podcast, which really isn't about any of this.
No, that's fine.
You're
I
talking about the
apologise.
finish, aren't you?
Yeah, we're talking about the finish.
Well, like you said, this is the most exciting thing that's happened to you today, which, if anything, says something about your day.
A
So,
very quiet year.
yeah,
A very quiet year.
that's how we managed to book him.
A funeral, or albeit bleak, is an event.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it's a day
there we
out,
go.
isn't it?
It's a day out.
Nice. Yeah, there'll be a
Yeah,
buffet.
you cry. You feel glad that the person was alive. You get to talk to people. It's strangely lovely.
And we're comedians, so we rarely have emotions. So it's nice to go out and feel something, isn't it?
I think a part of the comedic Bible
Yeah.
is that we have to be glib about anything
Yeah.
serious that actually we care about.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
I'd
that.
rather be like that
Yeah.
than boring company.
I completely agree, and
Keep it distant.
that is why you're here.
Well,
So
people might disagree heavily with that last statement already. A minute ago.
Let's see.
If they've made it this far, fair play.
conspiracy theories. How do you feel about conspiracy theories? When you hear a conspiracy theory, what's your reaction to it? Do you know people that believe in conspiracy theories? Would you be friends with someone who believes in conspiracy theories? What's your feeling on them?
It's a tricky one because I think, albeit they're utterly hilarious outwardly, if I'm being like an absolute patronising bastard about this and go, you are so thick to think about that, and that's so funny to me. And you look at America, who really lean into a conspiracy theory, like the idea of Donald Trump, for instance, is like, I think
Just the concept of Donald Trump.
he is just one big conspiracy theory that Americans believe in, and I find that hilarious.
Yeah.
And then you have to sort of go and take yourself out of that arrogance of being like, look at these guys, and go, actually, people are believing that stuff for a reason, and that will be either displeasure of society and how that's going. So there'll be.
So
certain
you're more interested in what's behind it then?
I find it actually more fascinating than the just isn't that stupid. I find the mindsets of people that have to believe in this stuff or want to believe in this stuff and so desperately need an answer to something or something to not be correct as to why they're feeling how they're feeling about whether it's society, whether it's about an emotional thing that's happened in their life that they're trying to work out and they have no answers. They jump straight into the world that the world is against them. And that sort of, I think, if you want to thread through every conspiracy, it's the world is against me and this part of the world.
Because you could find conspiracy in anything if you wanted to.
Absolutely. And some of them are way more serious than some of the more trivial ones.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the lines get blurred, and with like the invention of AI and things like that, it's only going to get more, the lines are only going to get more blurred, what's going to be more believable.
Absolutely.
And that's fascinating to me. I find that really interesting that, I mean, all you need to do is look, without going too bleak, I've gone funerals into Russia. But if you look at like Russian politics at the moment and the way that works, I mean, at the time of recording, an opponent to Putin has just been murdered. The amount of...
I think he's still been murdered.
That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
He's still there. I'm going to be honest, he's still murdered. That guy is dead.
Yeah.
And that's awful.
And if he isn't, that is a twist in the tale we did not see coming.
Well, it could be a conspiracy. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I find that there will be now sort of Russian sort of rhetoric now from the powers that be that will use conspiracy for their own purposes to sort of push a different notion to what actually happened. And I think conspiracy is not just a thing that people believe in; it's something that power can push as well.
Oh,
to sort of. And I think that's the other side of it. It's the people who make it. That's the more interesting thing. It's like,
absolutely.
why are they doing it?
Absolutely.
So I think it's a really fascinating topic. It's not something I necessarily research a lot into, but whenever people talk about like a thing that's happened, you go, I am kind of interested in that.
Well, fortunately for you, we do.
I'm amazed by this.
So you were talking about serious and non-serious conspiracy theories. This is obviously a very serious conspiracy theory. Finland doesn't exist. So if you know anything at all about Finland, you probably believe that it's a large but sparsely populated country in northern Europe, which lies in between Sweden and Russia. It is famous for lakes, forests, saunas, and winning Eurovision by fielding a heavy metal band dressed as monsters. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
That song was great.
Lordy.
Yeah, Lord. Yeah.
Gay Bible.
But you could be wrong about all of those things because, according to some, Finland never existed. That large but sparsely populated stretch of northern Europe is just another bit of the Baltic Sea. Its capital, Helsinki, is actually eastern Sweden. All those people who confidently believe themselves to be Finns are also from eastern Sweden or western Russia or northern Estonia because there was no such thing as Finland. It has been suggested that Finland was made up by the Japanese and the Soviet Union during the Cold War for various reasons, such as fishing rights and hiding overfishing. This theory gained some attention and has since been elaborated upon in various online forums and social media platforms. Supporters of the theory often cite various pieces of evidence. For example, they may point to the relatively low population density of Finland or the fact that it's rarely mentioned in global news as evidence of its non-existence. So, Joseph Parsons, have you been to Finland?
I haven't been to Finland.
Of course you haven't.
But I find the idea of the word Finnish, like Finnish,
Yeah.
you could be Finnish, and it's about fishing. Fishing.
There's something in that.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's a
Because-
theory that's based on exactly that.
Maybe they take the... I mean, I bought in. I know Finnish people. I know the language. Well, I don't know the language to say, but I've heard the language.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool language, but it has a very specific thing that if you look at Scandinavia, which Finland is not a part of,
No.
because one, it doesn't exist, and two, it's not part of Scandinavia. Common misconception.
I thought it was. I feel so bad about that.
Do they
I
get
researched
They get lumped.
Because you've
in.
got a so-called Finnish friend, haven't you?
Oh, I've got Finnish friends. Loads of them.
You've got
Millions.
friends that may be Finnish.
But they're East, I would say they're the northern Estonian.
Yeah.
But they count.
It's on board. I like it.
They're northern Estonian. But they would probably disagree with this fact. I think
No shit.
but if you look at the language, it's actually really different to the rest of Nordic Europe. And I'm sure it has similarities in the same way that Icelandic's very different as well. So it's an interesting language if you look at that. So it makes you think it surely does exist. But maybe they created that language when they were stealing all the fish.
That's interesting.
It's like, in a way that, like, you know, sort of like there are certain, like, is it back slang? That's sort of like a language invented to sort of based on a language.
Yeah, we've talked about backmasking in this, which is not quite the same thing. That is talking backwards, but
I mean, there are manufactured languages. Klingon is the most spoken.
Maybe.
You know, from Star Trek is the most.
Maybe Finnish is based on Morse code.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Who knows? I'm just spouting pure facts for people to believe in because I'm a powerful man.
See, I did not know about this conspiracy theory until you suggested it. So I was like, because I'm the conspiracy theory person.
You love them.
Like I believe in lots of them.
He believes in most of them.
Yeah, but this one I had never heard of. I'm going, no, Finland.
See, I didn't know that before I called all people who believe in conspiracies.
Yeah,
It goes.
because you were looking at me when he was saying that, and I was watching him slowly dying in your eyes.
Can I just say, there's been a real gear change now. Not just in that, but you've got glasses
Yeah,
on?
because I started reading and then I remembered I struggled to read without glasses, which is why I only.
I'm going to be honest, I thought it was flawless.
Oh,
Don't be so harsh on yourself now. Just live a little.
this is seamless. We've done 10 episodes of this now. We know what we're doing. We can do this
Do we?
seamlessly.
I have no idea.
Also, this isn't live. I'll just edit it out. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, listening to the edit. So I've started listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
But I listen to it on twice speed, so I don't hear my own voice.
Hang on.
I can do
How
it
could
on Apple Podcasts. You can speed things up.
Yeah, but
People use Apple Podcasts. I find that fascinating.
Oh, what do you recommend?
I tend to use Spotify for everything so that it's in one place.
most of our listeners are still Apple, but
Are they?
Spotify is making a big surge at the moment.
Maybe because I used to be an Apple.
Come on, Spotify people, you can do it.
yes.
This is exciting.
It might be to do the demographic that we're attracting.
They don't believe in Spotify.
I don't know.
Also, they're in Sweden, which also doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Bit of fun, probably.
So, the roots of the theory. The roots of the plot relate to fishing rights. Japan has an almost insatiable appetite for sushi, consuming far more fish than it would be allowed to take from the seas by international law.
But have they been to Soho?
Well,
There is. If they want sushi, do the Japanese know about Soho?
I live in Walthamstow, and there are 3 sushi places.
Have they been to like the more sort of, I'm going to call it, gentrified parts of London?
I mean, there would not have been 3 sushi places in Walthamstow 10 years ago, surely.
No. I mean, literally 2 of them have popped up in the last.
No,
4
there would be
years.
chippies, good old British shrimp.
Yeah.
You can't find it shipping.
British fish for British people.
Exactly. Fry them. Fry them in fat now. Don't roll them raw.
I went out when we were up in Edinburgh last year. There was a chippy van that Alando's was it? Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but they did their fish and chips in beef dripping, and it was like cocaine. I couldn't get enough. It was
Really?
amazing. Like fish and chips has to be done in beef dripping, and it's amazing. Do you remember I was saying?
I think I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I deliberately walked through the Pleasance.
I think we did go there once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
every night to get chips from the chipping.
I deliberately avoid the Pleasance when I'm at Edinburgh because often I'll have to explain why I'm not happy. And I'll be like, well, I just performed to 6 people.
Most people there aren't happy.
No, but that is
No, the
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh Fringe Festival. No one's happy.
The end. Good night.
Yeah, we've gone too niche. Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yes.
No, fine.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Fish and chips, great.
Drag us back onto Finland. The Japanese.
Yes. So the Japanese consume far more fish. Consuming far more fish than they'd be allowed to take from the seas by international law. To get around this problem, the theory suggests Japan conspired with the USSR to invent a country lying off Russia's Baltic coast, in a place where it could fish undisturbed. Nobody's going to expect fishing regulations to be broken in a place where everyone thinks there's a landmass. It's quite smart thinking behind it, actually, when you think about the whole notion of that.
I'm buying into it.
Yeah, see?
But how old is Finland? Is Finland not an ancient country?
No,
yeah.
it's only about 50 years old.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, I'm joking. Imagine if it was, though.
I totally.
No.
Yeah, is it?
The land,
centuries old.
just sort of floated up, and some people who were like, "Should we just call this Finland?"
Or
yeah,
did
the
somebody
Japanese.
just make up because the part of the point of this is that there isn't a bit I mentioned at the start, where there's not that Finland is rarely in global news, if ever, right? There's not a lot about it in history because they haven't really blessed Finland. They're not done a lot, right? In the same way they've stayed
How
out. A lot.
dare you, Lordy?
Lord, they
musically-
defended us against the USSR during the Cold War.
Yeah, fair.
And to be fair, they were a bit mouthy when Russia went a bit sort of, trying to be like
Finland,
glib about Russia.
I'm just going to create an edit point here. Finland have done so much for the world, but yet they do stay out of a lot of global politics.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah. So,
To Wikipedia,
yeah.
the history of Finland begins around 9000 BC, but they got their independence in 1917, so that's kind of them.
Well, it's quite modern then.
Oh, that is a modern
But where did they get their
country.
independence from?
Japan.
Being part of the
USSR?
Russia.
from 1809.
That's interesting.
Russia don't need that. Like, they're big enough.
But you say that.
Right?
They clearly don't think so.
Nine
Yeah.
time zones.
Yeah.
9 time zones.
I'll try and take us away from geopolitics at the moment because
I'm also sorry, they became part of the Russian Empire in 1809. From 1808 was when Sweden and Russia were at war.
Oh.
That might be where it's coming from.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right. That might be the roots of this. This happened during the Cold War, but you're probably right that's where that's probably where that what's kind of lit the touch paper, I suppose, with this theory.
Maybe it was because the war had finished.
Oh,
And they were like, what should we call this? Well, the war's finished. I like it. That's what the people are going to be called.
This is why we get professional comedians
Finland.
in on the podcast. You can't.
That kind of wordplay
you
doesn't
can't-
present
it
itself
doesn't.
easily.
The
You saw
normies
my
can't
show
have
enough.
that.
You know I don't write jokes. I just say things loudly and hope that they laugh.
Well, I did
That's
laugh. I
the
loved your
secret.
show.
You were very nice.
I wasn't very nice. I go in wanting to be entertained. If you don't entertain me, I will not respond.
Can I just say, David Ferguson is one of the nicest human beings on earth.
He is.
I'm on a lot of medication.
Yeah, and that helps. I've always said that. I've always said that about you.
Yeah.
I've always gone, lovely man on a lot of medication. that's how I sort of, in the same way I talk about Pete Doherty. Lovely man on a lot of medication.
is.
A lot of it
Did
self-described.
you watch the Louis Theroux interview? With
Yeah,
him?
it was really funny.
It was really funny, wasn't it?
It's like, do you want to rum at 9 a.m? I was like, he's not got all of his demons, but he's at least found cheese.
That guy, he went out with Kate Moss.
And
Hey,
they went out
you're
with
talking-
each other for a while.
They
Like
did.
it wasn't just a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of redeeming features to Pete Doherty. I think he's a very funny guy. I think he's funny, which does sell.
He is funny. He's genuinely quite witty.
I think he's actually got some lols in him.
Yeah.
I think he's just been ravaged by his own
Oh, yeah.
sort of inconsistency with life. I think he's played fast and loose with health, and as a health nut man, I
Ripped
firmly
and
disagree.
jacked.
Sorry, this top just won't button up now. That's a lie.
Okay, so the resulting catch was then transported via the suspiciously useful Trans-Siberian Railway under the guise of Nokia products. This apparently explains both why Nokia was so successful in Japan, despite hardly anyone there owning a Nokia phone, and how Nokia managed to become the largest Finnish company when Finland may not even exist. Even the name Finland proves the theory, they say, as it comes from the fin of a fish, ignoring the fact that in Finnish the country is called Suomi.
Yes. But that's because that's what they want you to think in their sort of bleep morph code language, Morse code even.
Do we think the Finns are in on this?
I think they'd love this because the Finns are notoriously dry in their sense of humour.
They are.
So I'm thinking of famous Finns. As we all know, I'm a massive sport fan, so I'm of course going to go straight to Formula One and Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah, he's my favourite
who
driver too.
Is the world's driest man.
He is.
I think on the face of it, people go, "Who is this boring guy?"
Yeah.
But scratch beneath the surface, that guy was a party animal. That guy was backflipping in swimming pools.
He absolutely was.
He
He did not give a fuck about any of the media stuff around F1. He just wanted to turn up, drive a car fast, and fuck off.
Yeah,
That's
he
all
was
wanted to
so.
I have zero idea what these people are talking about.
Just-
Like it's none.
Just YouTube.
Kimi
finding
Räikkönen
Kimi-
interviews.
Yeah, it's
brilliant.
well worth a watch.
It's a great because even if you don't like sport, he is so incredibly unmedia trained. Even though they've obviously tried.
When Michael Schumacher retired for the first time, I think it was and Pele was presenting him some award. It was his last ever race, or at the time it was his last ever race. And all the drivers gathered around at the front of the grid before the race to see this big old ceremony with Pele and stuff. And Raikkonen wasn't there. And a bit later on, Martin Brundle was doing a grid walk. Like he walks down the grid and interviews the drivers and various people. And
Another thing that's well worth YouTubing.
it's brilliant.
Because some of those
Very good.
interactions are hilarious with famous people he doesn't know.
Yeah. And
so good.
he walked over to Kimi Räikkönen and he said, Kimi, you weren't there for the big presentation. Michael Schumacher's retiring 7-time world champion. And Kimi turned around, he said, I was having a shit. And that was and Martin Brundle was like, this is 2:00 in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, he's amazing. So I think I think all Finnish people without fail are exactly like Kimi Räikkönen, and I believe that to be true completely.
I love it.
So I think if Finland doesn't exist,
Yeah.
but does that mean Kimi Räikkönen was North Estonian?
Yeah. Or Russian.
Do you know, I was thinking it was North Estonian.
North Estonian is just because of the flag colours for me. They're very similar in flag colour. So for me, North Estonia feels the closest to what the Finnish flag is. Sorry,
It is
philology
interesting, though.
right there.
Most of the famous Finnish people I can think of are racing drivers because Hakkinen,
Mika Hakkinen, yes.
Valtteri Bottas was
Valtteri Bottas
yeah.
as well. He's another quite fun Finn.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had some
Fun
good hairstyles. And then you look at rallying, Tommy Mäkinen.
Yes, true.
Another All motor racing, actually.
Rosberg is.
Kimi, Nico Rosberg. Keke was Finnish. Nico is technically German, but
Was
comes
he?
from
Interesting.
from Finnish background
Okay.
because his dad was Finnish.
Father-son.
That's how F1 works. You have to be the son of a driver. who
Pretty
won
much, yeah.
straight-
Yeah. So, Finland as a utopia. Another claim is that Finland is an idealized model for how a liberal social democracy should be. As to all other countries in the world, at least some of which you would think might have noticed that the Baltic Sea is roughly twice as big as it's supposed to be. The reason they've gone along with this is simple. The Finland myth gives the rest of us something to aspire to. Imagine a country with great education, good healthcare, gender equality, and brilliant literacy rates. Finland is, in more than one sense, a dream. It's a Nordic welfare state that aims to be carbon neutral by 2035. It's also the happiest country in the world.
Tell that to a Finnish person.
Yeah, tell that to Kimi Räikkönen.
Yes.
Around 75% of its surface is covered with forest. It also has the world's largest archipelago, which is a group of islands.
Archipelago.
Archipelago. Thanks. Thanks.
Yes, that's right, isn't it?
Archipelago. It's
Archipelago.
Like, it's an island that's slightly attached.
Yes.
I even wrote that down phonetically and I still didn't pronounce it right.
It's a long word if you've not
it is a
come
long
across
I thought I was
word.
going to say a cappella group. I'm going, they're famous for a cappella?
Yeah.
You know?
That'd be amazing.
And I want them
It
to
would just be a drone, wouldn't it? A drone, 3 basses and a tenor.
I'd love
That's
to
your
see
acapella group.
I'd love to see a Finnish a cappella group. That'd be
Yeah.
amazing. With Kimi Räikkönen. in
TikTok,
it.
make it happen.
Oh, please. Okay. As well as Europe's largest lake district and last untamed wilderness, Lapland. So if I didn't know, so if Finland doesn't exist, Lapland doesn't exist. So where does Santa live?
I think he actually spends most of his time just chilling in Spain.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Do you know what?
11
He
months
loves
of the year.
Magaluf.
He does,
He,
yeah, yeah.
he loves a bit of Magaluf,
Yeah.
or what he calls it, Shagaluf. I know,
Yeah,
he's
but-
crazy. He's a real shagger.
He loves a cocktail in a bucket.
Yeah, he actually invented the open relationship, Santa.
Did he really?
That's why you think he's just visiting houses with presents. It's just all of his families. We're all of his families.
Well,
and he's
his
just
catch-
having sort of last-minute reparations.
Well, his catchphrase is ho, ho,
Yeah.
ho.
Yeah, ho,
Yeah.
ho, ho. Yeah, exactly.
Fair point. Excellent.
God, aren't we funny?
Aren't we good at this? In fairness, I've seen a fair few fellas in Magaluf that almost certainly are Santa.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've never been. I'm just not the demographic.
You're the wine drinking type. Anyway,
How dare you.
Finland's capital, Helsinki, is known for design and architecture. Finland is also a safe travel destination. 11 out of 12 lost wallets are returned to their owners. Isn't that nice? That is the nicest fact I read about Finland. There's loads of good facts about Finland.
And
That
you know,
is amazing.
The only other percentage is just Brits that have gone there. It would be 100%, but we're bringing it down again. God, bloody.
I do like it's
England.
the specificity of that stat. 11 out of 12.
It's quite nice because, like, Finland, and talk about Scandinavia and stuff, and Nordic Europe
Yeah.
in total. It's quite nice for English people to be able to talk about them because we didn't invade them. They
No.
invaded the rest of. They kind
Yeah.
of did it to us.
Yeah.
So with the Vikings and such. So kind of they're a free hit.
Yeah,
So we can say anything quite rude about them.
pretty much.
And not be like, oh, but we're the bad guys. Because for the rest of the world,
yeah,
we are.
We are the cunts.
But I would say, to be fair,
Irish.
you're Irish. Yeah,
In Northern Irish,
Northern
though.
Irish, though.
Yeah, well,
But we won't get into not into that now.
Boris Johnson was Prime Minister. He was going to build a bridge from
Oh, he was from Scotland.
Scotland
Yeah.
to Belfast. To keep
What
the
was it?
union.
Fucking powerful twats going, I'm going to build something, i.e. a wall or a bridge. Just fuck off, everyone. Anyway, to be fair to Finland, they are one of the shining lights on the world stage.
They really are.
politically, with a very young president or prime minister. Not sure what they go by, but
Is it Prime Minister?
Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And she seems to be smashing out the park. I mean, all of Nordic Europe have their own little rumblings of far-right groups, but I think that Finland have managed to suppress theirs relatively effectively. So,
Because they're so happy.
yeah. So I've just turned this into the rest is politics.
Well, I would agree. That's a very interesting point because unhappiness is what leads to extremist groups, whether it's far left or far right.
And I think, yeah, if you look at the Swedes have a bit of an issue with it, and some of the other parts of Europe, and that is always your friend of mine, immigration. Mm-hmm. And I wonder what I'd love to know the immigration stats to Finland. North Estonia, because I genuinely think that there will be fewer immigrants there And I think that then gives the far right less of a voice to complain about
Yeah.
the main. And by the way, I'm a massive open the borders. No country should be owned by people. Like I feel
One
like
flag.
I'm one flag.
Yeah.
One flag for all. No country exists in my world. There's no such thing as a country. There you go. There's a conspiracy. But I just feel that actually that seems to be the sort of ignition to far right sort of propaganda throughout Europe, particularly. I don't know how
Your
it works elsewhere.
Finnish friend,
Yes.
are they a happy person?
Yeah, generally speaking, I think
Mm-hmm.
I mean they're unbelievably beautiful. I mean, if you look at them, you just go fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, and I would say they're 6'4", just blonde, ripped, and just like you would put them in any magazine, and you'd go, that's just like next level attractive.
This is why we don't want to migrate there.
No, exactly. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe like we won't go there because they make us feel bad about ourselves. We want to feel good about ourselves.
What a great immigration policy. Just be so beautiful, no one wants to move
Yeah.
to your country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a big attraction for the
Yeah, I mean,
for the ho-ho-hos, for the Santa Claus.
fair point. Yeah. So what about the people of so-called Finland? What about the 5.5 million of people of Finland who live there and the thousands who emigrate or visit? The conspirators have an answer for that too. They say the Finnish people, while believing they live in Finland, are actually residing in small towns throughout Sweden, Estonia and Russia in remote forested areas. This is where people travelling to Finland are actually flown to. So if you go to Finland, you don't end up in Finland.
You end up in
You could be in
Estonia,
Russia.
or Sweden.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, you get off a plane, an airport's called whatever an airport's called. Your taxi takes you to whatever hotel you're staying in. You wouldn't necessarily know
No.
if you weren't in the country that you thought you were going to. If everything was set up correctly.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily be. I'll be honest. As soon as the plane lands, I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
I am relying so heavily.
So you could have been to Magaluf.
I could have been.
Yeah.
I went to Lisbon recently, but maybe it wasn't Lisbon.
I think you'd know.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
Lots of pastel donatas. Anyway, I think I get where they're coming from here. You could divide a country up into several parts of the country and call it something else. I feel this is one of the more feeble arguments in the conspiracy. I feel like this bit is no, I think a lot of this is really, you can qualify it because the world is flat. But if you actually, it just runs out and they're kind of near the edge.
in the zone. I love it.
They're kind of near the edge. Yeah. I mean, you could knock them off and they wouldn't exist because they'd fall
Well, you can't
into-
knock them off because it's the ice wall.
the ice wall is another one I don't know.
Yeah, so Antarctica isn't a continent. Antarctica is an ice wall,
And
of
do you know
which there's land on the other side.
Do you know what? It's bloody chilly. That's what I know about Antarctica.
Yeah.
It's filled with Nazis.
Nice. Is that another one?
It's
That's
another one.
another one. Oh my gosh. Oh, they're also on the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of everywhere now.
They are, yeah. So what are Finnish people like? Well, you already know this. Finns generally aren't big on small talk, and quiet moments in conversations aren't considered awkward. Finns tend to mean what they say. If somebody asks you to get together for lunch sometime soon, expect to get a text, email or phone call. Finally, Finns are known for their modesty and self-deprecating sense of humour. Is that how you find them?
I just think... but it's not particularly with a specific person in terms of he's very quiet, definitely.
Okay.
Quiet, down, that kind of thing. Kimi Räikkönen proves that self-deprecating humour exists, and they're quite dry. I think Finns and Brits probably get on quite well. There are a lot of similarities apart from visually. I just think visually, no.
Yeah.
But like generally speaking, I think a Brit and a Finn can they can understand our humour. I think that's why a lot of English comedians go out to Norway and parts of Nordic Europe, because I think Finland, Sweden, Norway, they all have a similar self-deprecating sort
They're
of.
on the same wavelength.
Yeah, they're on the same wavelength, and the same continent,
so it pays a lot better than gigs here.
and, yeah, exactly. And you get to go to a nicer place for a bit.
Have you
How
gigged
nice.
over there?
No, not yet. I want to though. I'm planning it for my tour. I'm going to try and do some like European dates and call it a world tour when it's literally just me asking if a venue will have me.
Somebody told me that the way that because a lot of British comics do go out there and Scandinavia and Finland and that pocket of Europe, but what I heard is that Finnish audiences don't really laugh.
They applaud.
They applaud.
Yes.
They wait until the end, and then you get a
Perfect.
massive round of applause, and then they tell you how much they loved it afterwards. But it's quite sinister because it's like there's no reaction during the gig. It's like a play. It's a reaction at the end of the gig.
Steve Hughes has a joke about that. They will stare at you until you cry.
Yeah.
But then they applaud at the end and they say that they love it.
Which makes me think I'm attracting a mostly Finnish audience over here.
Oh, that's not true. I've been to
But
your
they don't
gigs,
applaud
man.
at your gigs.
No, that's true. That's true.
sorry. That's
They don't. Yeah.
such a horrible thing to say. You're touring. You're smashing.
Hey, don't take it back now. It's fine.
No,
Accept
that's
it.
fine.
Yeah.
People can judge for themselves. When they come see you
People can
live.
judge for themselves. I'm on tour. Buy some tickets.
Yeah.
Um,
Look at me teeing you up for promo.
Yeah. Oh, you're such a
I'm
good
such
guy.
a
Isn't he?
right.
Yeah. We love him. And he's jacked.
I am
okay.
just so jacked.
So jacked. We barely got him in that seat.
I'm going to the gym as of tomorrow.
I see. I'm an inspiration.
The one
So-
directly opposite your flat that you've been.
Oh yeah.
for years.
I am 3 minutes away from a gym, like 3 minutes away from a good gym, and I have never been.
Do you know how few gyms there are in Crystal Palace, South London? It's
They're not-
remarkable for the middle class sort of
Yeah.
population that is Crystal Palace that there is just a very shit better gym in the park, and it is. I go to it. It is shit
Yeah.
as a gym, but it does the job.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to travel out to like Sydenham and something to go to a gym group or a pure gym.
Yeah.
And there's no parking, and you can't get anywhere without driving in South London. What's the point?
A better is a public leisure centre.
But yeah, it's like a better gym,
Yeah.
which is such a broad use
It's
of that.
a terrible name because what it means is it's marginally better than public leisure centre gyms used to be, but still not great.
I would say better than shitting on yourself in public, but worse than all other gyms.
But shitting on yourself in public is a way to lose weight.
It is a way to lose weight, and actually, it does an awful lot for your health.
I keep getting
That's a
adverts.
conspiracy I want to push.
I keep getting adverts for Cullen Bloom.
What's that?
It's a tea that you drink and it helps you get rid of the weight.
No, don't believe in any.
Oh
of
no,
that
I don't. No,
stuff.
don't
That's
wanna
a
do that,
conspiracy
don't wanna
not to buy into. It's not.
I
good for
take
you.
medication and it sorts that out anyway.
But send us the link anyway. So, against the theory. There is strong evidence against the theory. Who'd have thought?
I don't agree.
Strong evidence against the theory.
I'd say more than strong. For one thing, it is easy to see Finland from an aeroplane, spacecraft, or satellite image. Theorists claim the images are altered, but it would take a lot of time and resources to change every single one. Every airline pilot who flies to Finland would also need to be bribed to keep the secret. I think that's quite a good deal.
Well, it's their payments also for like chemtrails.
Yeah, fair point. It's another conspiracy. Finland being invented during the 20th century doesn't account for the centuries of Finnish history, language, culture and arts, not to mention the Finnish people alive today who were born before the supposedly fake Finland was invented, like Phoebe was talking about earlier. It would be impossible to trick an entire nation of people into believing they are from a fake country. Would it?
No, that's a complete lie. Look at I would argue, and this is a broad statement on something I have no complete evidence for and or haven't researched and have never been to these places. However, I'm about to say it. North Korea, China, or basically what I'm saying is where there is no democracy.
Yeah.
And you look at the way they completely manage all of their media, Russia now, it's very, without any opposing view, you would just believe what the state is saying, or you will at least go along with it for the vibes. And I think that's very doable.
Yeah.
I think if Finland didn't exist, but they were trying to make it look, that's so doable. That's the
I
most
think it's
doable
doable.
part of the whole conspiracy.
Especially at the point in which they think this whole thing was conceived, right, in the 50s or
by a guy called Mr. Finland.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's actually Irish. Finn McCland, but it didn't work. So that's Scottish. Anyway, to offend everyone in the podcast. You're all pricks. Anyway, sorry.
we are.
Sorry to everyone that's not English. The English would have loved that. They'll be like, yeah, get them, Joe, get them, get the foreigners, which I imagine is your listenership. But yeah, I think that's the most plausible. That's the most.
I think it is
plausible
too. I think it is possible for that because you accept what you're told when you grow up, right? And it's very well, if something is ingrained in you growing up as a kid, it's very hard to break that regardless of what someone else says to you. You just believe what your parents tell you, right?
Oh, absolutely. Have you heard of Tartaria? You haven't heard of Tartaria?
No.
So Tartaria was a major empire that's been completely written out of history.
Is it though?
Yes, look it up.
Really?
Yep. Look up the mud floods and
is
Great
it-
Reset.
Has it been on BBC News? That's how
No,
I. That's how I
BBC
qualify
the
any.
Great Reset. I have.
That's how I qualify any.
not
fact.
the Klaus Schwab Great Reset,
Okay.
but the Great Reset that got rid of Tartaria. The Tartarian Empire is on maps. It's talked about in history books. It did not exist.
Okay.
And that's because of people coming in and going, let's educate. Is Phoebe looking this up?
I can literally hear the keys going.
Yeah, Tartaria. So it has happened before.
I was
so
like,
Finland not
nice.
existing.
This could be a massive deviation.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Tartarias should be one of our episodes.
Okay, we'll put it on. You got it, Phoebe?
Yeah. The mud floods, Tartarian architecture.
God, this podcast is a real like. I'm going to be honest. It should come with a trigger warning. Like you will go into wormholes on the internet.
Oh, that's
and
the
never
whole
leave.
that's the whole
Yeah.
point. Like,
We have also had a whole episode on wormholes, so yeah. Yeah.
Where's that come from? The term like wormhole. Is it
Oh,
literally just because they never end? Like
It's
the
a theory.
tunneling.
It's quite a strong theory that
Well,
they could be created at some point,
Hawk,
or they might exist somewhere in space.
Yeah, Hawkins talked about it in a Brief History of Time. Isn't that the book that he wrote? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he didn't come up with that term. He got it from somewhere else. But it's just basically 2 points in space. You know,
Oh, wow.
Being like the wormhole in Star Trek Deep Space Nine is pretty much the idea of a wormhole. Of course, that's sci-fi. You can travel through it and stuff. You probably couldn't travel through a wormhole, but
Everything in Star Trek, not everything in Star Trek, but a lot of things in Star Trek are based on something, aren't they? They're based on some
up until
thin theory.
the most recent series.
Yeah.
Like once you get to Star Trek Deep Space Nine, it's
I
just,
think that was more about was it the breakup of Ross and Rachel in Friends? That's sort of that's the cultural thing that they're working on. Less about social issues, more about. I don't know. I've never seen any Star Trek. Nor have I ever seen Star Wars. I'm not a big sci-fi
Get
guy.
out.
Yeah,
I don't really
you're gonna
like
have to leave.
sci-fi. It's just like
I don't love sci-fi, but I have to say,
the glasses suggest otherwise.
yeah, I know. And the fact I'm doing a podcast about conspiracy theories.
but you don't believe.
I don't
the
believe
cynical
most
one.
of them. I don't believe most.
See, this is really weird because I don't believe the Finnish one. I feel so weird. Well, what's the point of me here? If I don't believe I've got Finnish licorice here.
You bought Finnish licorice?
Yes, because I love salt licorice, salmiak licorice.
Where did you get this from?
From a wonderful website called My Licorice, who are not sponsoring us, but I really recommend.
Yeah.
But do you want to try some salt licorice?
I mean, I feel like it's a perfect audio event.
Okay, so
For the listeners.
well, for our YouTube viewers, like
I also want to say I absolutely despise licorice.
I hate
oh well, there you go.
But,
There we go.
but no, I want to try it because that's
Okay, so
I'm a fun guy. I can have fun, even if I don't like it. I can join in.
This is the one that
You can have fun.
The non-drinker speaks. I can have fun.
Yeah.
This is the most like a sweet.
Just because I make sense for the whole evening doesn't mean I can't have. Oh, it's chewy.
Right.
Sure.
I like it. So for the
So
listener,
it's salty licorice.
It's like a chewy. You know those little chewy straws you used to get with the white bit in the middle and then the red on the outside.
Yeah.
But it's salty.
Phoebe, would you like some?
I actually really like that.
Yeah, I love salt licorice. Salt licorice is so good.
I really like salt and sweet together. It's not quite got the sweet element, but it's definitely hitting the salt.
Do you know, I don't like licorice. I've never liked licorice, but I prefer
That's
that
delicious.
to Bassett's licorice.
I cannot.
Why do
stand
I like that? Maybe I've grown as a person.
But salt licorice is all like that.
In
That's
more ways than one.
I know.
Hey, he's so
I have got an erection. Joke. I joke.
Don't tease me.
Demi.
I'm very lonely.
It's
Think-
very.
yeah, Phoebe,
Oh, Phoebe.
Phoebe's stroking.
I think Phoebe's having a stroke.
And that's-
Is anyone?
and that's the
healthy?
sweetest.
One of us may have to leave to do the tech.
Can I not? Can the gays not do the breathy thing with the CPR thing? You know, when they breathe into your body.
Yeah.
Because I know I don't want to touch a girl. In the
Me.
Yeah. I'll pump your chest. Don't get you wrong. I'll pump your chest, but I'm not getting your fucking mouth.
That's actually so rude.
Oh God.
I reckon that's. Imagine if you were a gay dude and a straight guy was like that, where they were like, "Well, I'm not fucking kissing him.
Yeah.
I'll pump his chest."
I'm sure.
I quite like that.
You know the dolls that you learn CPR on when you do like first aid? They're always like women. It's not. I've never.
Well, no, it's because it's based on a French woman who committed suicide.
Is it?
Yeah, it's based on her body. She's the most kissed face in the world. I can't remember what her name was. Look, CP.
You're coming out with some gems today.
No, but this is true.
You are
It's-
cooking, David.
It's-
I love this.
We're
I
really
love this. I
putting
love
Phoebe
this.
through the ringer.
I mean, Phoebe is doing
I'm
a
loving
lot
this.
of work.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yes,
she's
that's
based
her,
on a
that's
French.
her.
She's based on the body of a
So
girl
good.
pulled from the sea.
That is good, isn't
That's
it?
such good knowledge.
So
So the reason we do this podcast is because Fergie has a fuck ton of facts bouncing around his head that are useless in day-to-day life. So that's what this podcast is for.
I love it. J'adore Fergie, by the way, as a term,
So,
as a name. I'm on board. I'm going to call you Fergie from now.
Joseph, you
that's
can do
okay.
that. Yeah,
This
she's
is
the most
such a good podcast, guys.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Joseph.
I'm having such a good time and learning so much. And I didn't know I liked salt licorice.
I really love salt licorice.
I really
Look,
like fennel, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I give you the sweetest one of it. Like I've got unopened. I've got double salted licorice triangles. Do you want to try those?
I mean, they sound awful. Let's go through it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I feel like we've gone into a food podcast now.
But it's all finished. It's all finished.
I know.
But Finland doesn't exist. It's North Estonia
So this
and
doesn't
or.
exist.
Yeah, North Estonian sweets. Yeah,
North Estonian sweets.
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
These-
I will drag this back in because I know
these
you've got.
It's fine.
Are
Hang on. I feel like I'm going to hate.
do you want
No,
to
I feel like
try?
I'm gonna hate this one.
I don't think you'll like them at all,
Sorry.
Phoebe.
No, neither, but let's try.
For the listener,
Oh,
So much.
Incidentally,
I'm currently
that one just tastes like
eating-
poo.
for the listener, I'm currently eating the worst thing that's ever been in my mouth.
these are my favorites.
They're so horrible.
Can I ask what the second worst thing that's been in your mouth is?
Yeah, it's been cum. No, I'm joking.
Cough medicine, I think is what it
Yeah, that's it. It does taste like cough medicine.
No, I think it tastes like.
isn't as bad.
Oh, see,
I
that's my
disagree.
favorite.
I think this is. Oh fuck!
I want it to end now. That's ruined my day.
That is disgusting.
I
This has ruined a day where I've gone shopping for a funeral suit and not been successful.
So Resuscian was based on a French woman who committed suicide. So there's millions of people trying to resuscitate a doll that didn't want to live in the first place.
Fuck me, there has to be a poem that talks
She-
about
she
that. It's
is-
so poetic.
Oh, it is.
she is
Isn't
the
that
most
beautiful?
kiss face in the world.
That's such good knowledge, Fergie. I'm going to go Fergie. I like it. Cool. Sorry. Right.
Right. Other places that don't exist. The notion that a huge geographical region containing people who you might have literally met is nothing but a lie. It's so outlandish that you could be forgiven for thinking that this would be a one-off, but you would be wrong. The city of Bielefeld. Have anyone heard of that? No.
As in the German city
Yes.
of Bielefeld.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bielefeld. Good pronunciation. Is at least according to the official narrative the 18th largest city in Germany, but it is home to no significant corporations or public institutions, no tourist attractions, and no major river. It has no significant features whatsoever. So in 1994, after passing an autobahn sign on which all of the signs to Bielefeld had been taped over, a student named Achim Held came up with a theory to explain how a city of over 340,000 people could be quite so unknown. The city doesn't exist. This would explain why he never met anybody from the city, nor anyone who ever visited it. Who could be propagating such a theory? A group known as C, which means they, apparently.
Very progressive.
A generation later, there's only one thing everybody does know about Bielefeld, that it's really funny to pretend it doesn't exist. In 2010, film students at Bielefeld University, they've got a university, made a film about the conspiracy and exactly what C wanted. By 2012, Chancellor Angela Merkel was cracking jokes about the non-existence of a fair-sized German city. She was known, in fairness, for her humour, wasn't she? That was.
I think she had a wicked
did have a
sense
big
of
one,
humour.
yeah.
She
I-
didn't show it in the world of politics, which no one should.
No.
She's Alistair Crowley's daughter. That's
Theresa
another
May-
conspiracy theory.
Theresa May became funny after she was.
She
Prime
also
Minister.
everyone was just like, oh, but the devil, you know. After the chain of events that happened after
Yeah.
Theresa May, were like, we really
Theresa
fucked
May,
up
in
there.
retrospect,
Yeah,
wasn't that
it's
bad.
not that bad.
So by 2014, the city of Bielefeld itself was in on the joke, promoting its 800th anniversary under the slogan, I'm going to butcher this because I don't speak any German, Das gibt's doch gar nicht, which means that cannot be real. And I apologize to all German-speaking people.
Do you speak German, Joseph?
No, I speak Dutch. Das gibt doch gar nicht. Nicht.
Nicht?
Nicht.
Nicht.
I reckon we have a bit of a going on.
Yeah.
But basically what I did there was I don't trust you and then did it worse than you. Great.
No, I
Doesn't
think
that
you
make
did it
me
better.
look like a legend. Oh, hang on there. Hold my... I reckon I could fucking... No,
Fucking
actually.
German?
Actually, I can't do
GCSE.
German. It's not the same as Dutch.
Yeah.
as much as I want it to be.
Did you do GCSE German?
No, I didn't touch the language.
Okay.
No,
But you speak Dutch.
I speak Dutch, yeah.
Yeah, same.
I lived in the Netherlands, and
Can you say something nice in Dutch to me?
nay.
Hey!
Bit of fun.
Okay.
Say
Anyway,
something horrible to me in Dutch.
however it's pronounced, and I apologise to any German-speaking listeners, it means that cannot be real. So 5 years after that, it was offering €1 million to anyone who could offer incontrovertible evidence. That was harder to say than the German.
Incontrovertible is a
Yeah,
horrible word.
It's a horrible word. I should have read that through.
Loads going on.
That it did not exist. When the prize went unclaimed, the city announced that it definitely did exist after all and declared the joke over. I don't think
I love it.
you can
Declaring
declare a joke
I
over.
actually do that after every single punchline.
Joke over?
Laugh,
It's over.
reset. That joke is over. I love it.
Had a allotted amount of time to laugh, and now it's over.
Fun time is over.
I love that. I really hope that happens
Stop
in German
laughing.
comedy.
It's no longer funny.
The joke is over. Oh, sorry.
It's fine. It's
right down the
brilliant.
microphone there.
Other places that the internet has declared to be unreal in much the same way, much the same manner, have included the US state of Wyoming, the Brazilian state of Acre, or the Italian state of Molise. All these places fit a particular profile. They are peripheral, sparsely populated, off the tourist track, and famous for nothing other than their own questionable ontological status. I got that word right. The proofs they don't exist can thus follow the same logic as that
He
which
celebrated too early there, didn't he? Love the fact he got one of the words right. The next sentence was a car crash
Right.
from start to finish. I'm so sorry.
edit. None of this is going
You
in.
can't edit your
None
way
of
out of
this is
this one,
going in.
mate.
I will.
Please, it's so funny.
Just stop talking so I can edit you out.
Love you.
The proofs they don't exist can thus follow the same logic as that which held applied to Bielefeld. Have you been to Bielefeld? Do you know anyone who's from Bielefeld? Do you know anyone who's ever been to Bielefeld? If the answer to all three questions is no, then, well, it stands to reason that Bielefeld probably doesn't exist, does it?
Oh, he got there in the end, didn't he? He got there in the end.
I really need to read through the stuff I print.
I cannot read. I genuinely, because I've done.
Well, as you can
my
see,
own
Joe,
stuff.
you are in good company.
I am so bad at reading out loud. It's like I'd love to be a presenter, and it looks like fun and easy. And then I start reading an auto cue when I'm doing anything at home, and I'm like, this is just I can't do it. I'm rubbish at reading.
I feel like on your website it says presenter.
It does, yeah, because
Yeah.
I present podcasts, mate.
Oh, yeah, you
Doesn't
do.
mean I can't.
We're
can't.
present.
So, where does the theory come from? Most sources say that the first appearance of the Finland doesn't exist conspiracy was in a Reddit post in 2015 by an anonymous user going under the name Reagans. In a thread discussing weird things taught by his parents, he posted an elaborate story about how his parents told him the theory that Finland doesn't exist in all seriousness. The post went viral and spread around other social media sites such as Tumblr and 4chan. Despite its meme status, the Finland theory is still mostly played only for satirical purposes and has even brought more attention to an often overlooked nation. The Finland conspiracy subreddit is filled with posts praising Finland and its accomplishments, yet there remains a small group of people who buy into the theory. It can be difficult to tell the difference between people online being sarcastic and those who are being serious. The user who posted the original theory says he doesn't believe it himself and that his parents burst out laughing when he brought it up again. I do like his parents. I really like this guy's parents.
I adore it.
Yeah. He has reportedly received many angry messages from Finns, one even offering to fly him out to Finland to prove the country exists. Yet he also claims to be proud of creating the viral sensation, as it has taught him a lot about the Finnish people and their culture and given him a newfound respect for the country. In reality, the theory that Finland doesn't exist should not be taken seriously. It serves as a reminder of the power of the internet to spread misinformation and the importance of critical thinking and skepticism when encountering outlandish claims. We have to put a caveat in. That's why that's there.
I quite like it. I feel like Finland was invented by like Scandinavians actually, and just go, well, if they want to be part of our gang, they're not going to exist.
Yeah.
And they've just ruled them out of history with vengeance, and I love that.
Do we like the whole concept of a guy just posting on Reddit and something becoming a sensation?
No, it's hideously awful, but at the same time, bit of fun. It's a bit Boaty McBoatface.
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is.
This one.
It is that.
It's a bit like when the internet becomes fun, and that's where this has come from. Because no one's gonna do anything horrific because Finland doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's like just it harms no one. I just think it's fun, and I
Yeah.
like it for that fact.
Yeah. Unless you did believe you were Finnish and you suddenly find out you're living in Russia.
Yeah, I feel that would really take the edge off
Yeah. Yeah.
of being happy.
Yeah.
A happy place with loads of forests.
Northern
green.
Estonia, however.
Northern Estonia, you can live with it.
Yeah.
I quite like that this is the first time we've done a conspiracy theory that I have not been on board with.
Yes,
Like,
finally we found
I
one.
found one like, no, this is not true. And that I have to say, I don't know where I am. I feel so weird. Normally I'm like, but what do you mean there weren't aliens in Roswell? What do you like?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I just,
There may be aliens in Finland.
there might be aliens in aliens.
Sorry, if it exists. Anyway,
Do you know the one thing that I find fascinating? The only thing about this whole thing that I still feel like there's an answer question is the Nokia phone thing. Why are they exporting that many phones to Japan?
an indestructible object.
Yeah. That doesn't, like, what's in those boxes if it isn't, where
a
are
lot-
those phones going?
Just a lot of snakes. It's just snake, isn't it? Over and over again. That's one for the young generation. That joke.
I miss Nokia.
Yeah, well, it's a shame they didn't really live up with the times.
Yeah, they didn't really keep up.
It's a
did they?
shame, isn't it? They've always just produced. We'll produce a really good phone for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And then we won't keep up. We'll
Yeah.
stick to our guns, the indestructible buttons where you have to press each button 6 times to get to the letter you need. That is the way people want to text.
But I used to be able to do that without looking at the phone. I knew every
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
moves.
I think you still could because muscle memory, because you did that for so many years. I reckon you could still do it with predictive text.
Whereas I'm really pigeon peck at my smartphone.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
I
the
think
only thing that
Nokia's-
ages you, David,
Yeah.
is your smartphone usage.
my smartphone. Yeah,
I
It's
think-
like, God, is that guy 20? And then you start using your iPhone, you go, God, no, he's in his 80s. Jeez.
I pretty much
Has he ever seen one of these before?
Nokia's like the gramophone of our generation. Everyone had one, and no one does anymore. But I'd love a Nokia.
Did you ever have the one with the buttons that blended together? You know, the little. So it was like Nokia 3310. You know where you stand.
Yeah.
And then there was one that happened just after that, where they thought we're gonna have a bit of fun with the buttons and just blurred all the buttons together.
Yeah,
Terrible idea.
It looked effective.
I mean,
at
that
the
might have
time.
been the start of the decline. In
It
fairness.
could have been. Yeah.
Okay. So, you don't believe Finland exists? Sorry.
No, I do
you don't-
believe. I
you
do believe Finland because
Finland
that's where I
exists.
get my licorice from.
Yeah, in fairness, where the hell else would make that? So you don't buy into this theory?
I'm sorry. I'm not sold.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sold.
Neither am I. It's totally ridiculous. Also, I looked at our analytics before this episode. We have 2 regular listeners in Finland, so we want you guys to know we see you. And we see your country. We do.
You exist to us.
You exist. You are people to us, and you have a country to us.
And most importantly, you're a listener to us.
Yeah.
And you're a number.
Yeah.
Which matters to us.
Does matter.
Very much
matters
so.
a lot.
Numbers
Actually,
matter.
tell your friends. Like and subscribe.
You matter as a number.
Good. Although your licorice is fucking horrible.
I love it.
I'd say 50-50 on the sweet one's better.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. So, Joe, would you like to tell people where they can find you, what you're doing?
Yes.
Tell us about you.
I am very active on Instagram now. You simply have to be these days. I'm trying desperately to build my following, so it's not a pathetic disgrace. Sorry about the bottle I just kicked over. If you could pick that up. I also it would be good if you followed me because I'm going to be on tour at the end of the year. Dates TBC, announcement TBC, but I will be on tour with my new show, which I will have also work in progresses. If you want to come to see me not do it.
What's the new show
well.
about? You're allowed to say.
Yes, I'm allowed to say.
Yeah.
It's based on an operation that I had last year, and the sort of year after, and how it changed my perception on health and fitness, and also just my well-being in both positive and negative ways. It's high concept.
Yeah.
It's fun though. It's very silly. It's my usual oversharing sort of approach to comedy, where every gory detail is laid out. And I'm just really enjoying writing it. It's definitely the most fun I've had writing anything.
And explains why he's ripped and jacked.
Ripped and jacked. But yeah.
What's your handle?
It's at Joseph Parsons Comedy on TikTok and Insta. And just ignore X. I don't go on it.
No one does anymore. Follow Joe. Go and see him live. He's a brilliant comedian and just one of the nicest people you could see live.
Oh, stop it, you. You haven't seen me recently.
Wow.
I've turned into a right edgelord. Yes.
Okay, would you like a Finland joke to end the podcast?
Just a bit.
Of course you would. Okay, so what do you call a deceased Finnish person?
Finished.
Yes!
That's the best thing I've ever done. Oh, God. There it is. A life event.
These. He loves these.
A life event. I just got a joke right. Maybe I could be a comedian.
That's the end of the podcast. Bye!
Please like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. The more lovely subscribers we get, the more episodes we'll make. And follow us on Instagram and TikTok for regular updates and exclusive videos at BelieveConspiracyPod. We love you. Bye!